Hi everyone, welcome back to How To Tuesday. Over the past few weeks I know a few of you have gotten new sewing machines as gifts for Christmas or Hanukkah or maybe your birthday or Kwanzaa. So I'd like to show you what some of those little doodads are that come with your sewing machine that might look like this or like this. Sewing machines come with a number of different attachments and tools that help make sewing easier. It doesn't matter what your machine brand is because for the most part, most sewing machines have similar or the same pieces. So let's start with what they use to help make threading easier. This is a thread cap. And if you've seen my tutorial on how to thread your Janome My Style 100, you'll recognize this as what I use to keep the thread from flying off of the thread arm. This is a large cap used for large spools of thread. This is a medium cap. You can use that for a large or a small spool. And then this is a very small one. And it doesn't matter which one you use. It doesn't matter what size your thread spool is, as long as you use one. That helps keep your thread from getting tangled. You also have thread arms. Your thread arms can look like this. It has an anchor here on one side and then a long arm. Or it might look like this. And this one looks more like a long, thick toothpick with a 4-cornered piece that fits into the thread arm guide on your sewing machine. These two are used exactly the same way. It's just that one fits this way on your sewing machine and this one fits straight up and down. You only need to use one at a time while you sew. If perchance you lose one, you always have the other as a backup. Your sewing machine will also have different feet. This foot here on the far left is called a zigzag foot. And we use the zigzag foot for basic straight stitches and also for zigzag stitches. The reason for that is because it has this nice wide opening here right in the middle of the foot, and that allows for movement of the needle to go back and forth here if you're doing a zigzag stitch, or forward and backward if you're using a straight stitch or a stretch stitch. This second foot is a zipper foot. The zipper foot allows you to safely and easily sew your zippers in by allowing the stitches to be placed either on the left side of the needle or the right side of the needle. If you look closely, you'll see that there's a bar that goes right down the middle. And if your needle is smack in the middle, as it is in this foot, it won't be able to sew. So what you do is you place your fabric to one side or the other, and that's how you attach your zipper. The last foot is a buttonhole foot, and this is used to make the holes for buttons in any of your garments or maybe purses. This foot slides back and forth. If you look here, you can see that I can move that pretty freely. So when you're making a buttonhole, you stitch going the left side, and then you end up going across and then down, and then across the bottom. So it creates a nice seamed edge for your button. That way your button doesn't come out or the fabric doesn't fray when you use your buttonhole. Some of the tools that come with your sewing machine are used for maintenance. And by maintenance I mean keeping your machine nice and clean in order for it to work properly. This is a small screwdriver. It's a lot different than the kind that you would use in your home because it's flat, and it has 3 sides that you can use to unscrew the screws on the throat plate of the machine. And that's often necessary to clean the inside of your machine. And how do you clean it? You use this. This is a brush, and the brush you can use to dust the lint from the thread and the fabric out of the machine. And then there's also this pointed end too that you can use for either turning corners when you're sewing or for digging out large pieces of thread inside the machine too. Other machines have pieces that are brushes on one side and open it up and a seam ripper on the other. So the brush doubles as a cap for the seam ripper too. Pretty fancy. Other machines just have single seam rippers where it's just the seam ripper only. This last piece here is a thread cushion. Some spools of thread need a little extra cushion when they sit on the thread arm, whether it's the long one that goes this way or the one that goes straight up and down. And this just kind of keeps it nice and cushioned while you work. So these are some of the things that you might find in your sewing machine. If you have any specific questions that you'd like to ask, please feel free to let me know and I'll be sure to answer those questions about all of your sewing machine attachments for you. That's it for this week, my friends. Be sure to join me next week on another edition of How To Tuesday.